Do your glasswork and poetry explore similar or different kinds of ideas?
I would say that my glasswork and poetry don't begin with an idea. They tend to begin with color or a feeling, and it's in the process of making the window or writing the poem that the idea itself becomes unveiled. So in that way, they both approach the sort of desire to excavate an idea in similar ways.
To what extent or at what point is intentionality important in your process?
Intentionality is important to the work that I do, but it is at most half of the process that is crucial, and that I have a starting point that I either choose or am given. There are some thoughts and images and an intention going in, but I have to sort of cross through an area of happenstance, and in order for the piece to really emerge. And so the creation of anything is kind of a dance between intentionality and happenstance.
Could you describe the role that undefined spaces play in your work?
Undefined spaces are important to cross through when creating a window or a poem, in that I always want to move beyond where I am when I've begun. I have to be lost at some moment and sort of in an undefined, sort of soupy place in order to potentially go beyond wherever I was. And it's sort of the hope that if I am able to go beyond that, that I will create something that might take someone else into a realm that's beyond where they were also.
When editing, how do you decide which details should remain and which to omit?
I guess the first part of editing begins in my own mind before I've written anything down. And I try and trust sort of what I choose to omit when I'm putting down the thoughts or when I'm following the thread in a piece of writing. And after the first draft is finished, I'll go through and maybe I'll take out elements that seem either too evident or they seem to cloud some feeling or image. And yet I've also started to question when and why I take out elements, if ever I'm taking out an element that is actually one that is powerful and uncomfortably vulnerable. And it's sort of a new thing for me to question my own intuition in editing, in terms of wondering whether the things I initially want to remove are the things that might connect most deeply to someone who is reading or looking.
Do you see your poetry as autobiographical?
All of my poems come from inside of me, and I guess that is undeniably autobiographical. I guess all of the images, the emotions are things I've seen or remembered, but sometimes the way they are put side by side doesn't reflect a naturalistic retelling of a memory or a feeling, but they are all elements that come directly from within me or that I've witnessed.
If you could construct a glass piece in any kind of environment, where would excite you?
There are many environments, both general and specific, that I find intriguing. Most specifically, I would love to make a stained glass window or monument in a town in Lithuania, which is where my great-grandmother was born. And I visited this place a couple of years ago and visited the Jewish cemetery with a woman who grew up in that town and was really moved by that experience. And I'm hoping to eventually be able to make a piece in that space, to draw a line sort of into the past and into the future in a way that is also reflective of stained glass as a medium and art. I guess always wanting to find new ways to reach both backwards and forwards and into this moment simultaneously.